Boxing fans, this is going to be a weekend to remember. There's major fights all weekend long, and I know you are not going to want to miss a single second. And while you're watching, don't forget to get in on all the action with my partners, DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. So don't wait. Sign up right now. All you got to do is download the DraftKings app. When you sign up, use my promo code Sonnen. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in same-game parlays for a chance at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress fights as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6, giving you a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. New customers use my promo code Sonnen. Bet just $5 and you will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code Sonnen, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Eddie Hearn and Ariel Helwani had a stunningly dishonest conversation, but one thing I can tell you about honesty, I've never looked it up. I don't actually know what it means, but I know what I think it means. I know when my mother explained to me what a lie was. She told me it's when you know the truth, but you say something different. And she used an example. She said, if today is Wednesday, but you proclaim it's Tuesday, but you think it's Tuesday, you're just wrong. That's not a lie. You're just wrong. Simple example, but this is what I know about the word. I'm watching Eddie Hearn. I'm watching Ariel Helwani here. That's just stop, Ryan. That's fucking ridiculous. Ready? Eddie Hearn and Ariel Helwani had a wildly dishonest conversation, and I don't know why. I don't know what purpose it served. Eddie is very good at what he does, and he's handsome, and he's well-spoken. He's got a great business. Ariel is very good at what he does. I've lost track. I think he's going for title number 16 and has 15. I could be one off one way or the other for Journalist of the Year. Like, they're very good. They don't need to come out and team up and put out misinformation, but they did. And it went something along these lines. Eddie Hearn was talking about boxing is dominating combat sports right now. MMA, I think he called it an ugly cousin. Instead of all of the digital and all of the platforms, boxing's dominating. And he went further to say, if you asked me to name 6 UFC stars right now, I couldn't do it. So, Ariel joins in. And Ariel attempted from a sophisticated standpoint to argue that MMA is in a recession. And he went on to explain what that recession was. So you have two guys, neither of which are accurate, supporting one another's claim. Now, let's take a look at this. And my bigger deal is just trying to figure out why. Because Eddie Hearn right now doesn't have an opponent. And there is nothing Dana White wants more than a fight. There is nobody under contract in boxing or in MMA that wants to fight as bad as Dana. Dana just doesn't have a number one contender. It's as simple as that, and he doesn't want to be a bully. If you are Eddie Hearn and you got the power and you got the money and you got the distribution, Dana's been waiting for you. He's just been waiting for you to say when. And perhaps Eddie is just defending his ground. Dana's now getting into boxing. And Eddie might just be willing to step to the plate, of which I would respect. And by the way, when Eddie says, I couldn't name 6 MMA stars right now, it doesn't mean that there aren't 6. He is saying literally, like, your crossover in your marketing it hasn't gotten me enough that I could name 6 of your guys. He's talking about him. He's personalizing it. But when Ariel jumped in and said that MMA is in a recession, that is a fascinating statement. And I don't know if anybody knows the numbers better than me, because I don't think anybody cares. I think I'm just a guy that cares. So I go and look that stuff up. But I also care from a standpoint that I had them all. I retired just before McGregor became McGregor. In fact, McGregor and I fought on the same card one time. He was the main event of the undercard. I was the main event of the entire thing. And I only say that because I had every record there was, all of them. And I could tell you the exact amount of pay-per-views, and I could tell you the next closest thing. I could tell you exact live gate. In fact, I will right now, 7.6 million. And when I tell you that that was the all-time record, I am excluding what St. Pierre did when they did 40,000 seats in Montreal. It was too much of a one-off. They did 11 million. I'm pushing that out. St. Pierre was technically number one. I'm moving that out. 7.6 million. The praise and the acclaim and the credit that I got for doing that, but I just want to bring this to you. That was 7.6 million. It was a record. They are now doing 2 and 2.3 million on a Saturday show that 2 years ago would have been done with no gate at the Apex. They were just in a distribution game. They were in a distribution game. They did a very good job of playing a sponsorship game, which that hasn't really gotten out. A lot of promoters don't even understand how they're doing that. The government and the tourism, that's a level that nobody's at right now. We don't even need to discuss it. Let's just look at live gate and pay-per-view, which is what you have fallen for, thinking that is the MMA business. Let's just look at that. Because for Ariel to say that it's in a recession, the exact same Saturday cards, the ESPN cards, the non-pay-per-views that used to be done with no gate at the Apex are now drawing each Saturday between $1.8 and $2.3 million. They are selling out the same sized venues that they do for pay-per-views. They're just putting them through distribution in a different format, and it's not pay-per-view. They are putting pay-per-view stars. Ian Gary, who is co-main evented 2 pay-per-views before that did quite well and sold out arenas. For example, and I only went back 3 days to find that example. Got a card coming up. Weigh-ins in 72 hours. Bell time in 96. Sold out in Iowa, an unusual market. 14,000 seats, the same as is held at T-Mobile, which is where they put on pay-per-views. I'm just sharing for you. MMA's in a recession. That is a ridiculously inaccurate statement. And inaccurate's a nice way of saying it. It sounds dishonest, but that's a much stronger word, so I'll just say inaccurate. What would be the point of telling that story? What would be the point of pretending that MMA is down when all of the data and all of the numbers that we have? UFC 299, and I realize I'm going a year back, but they did a $14.2 million gate. I had the record at 7.6. UFC 299 did 14.2. 299 wasn't the show. 300 was. The marketing and the power did not go into 299. That's why I'm bringing up 299. That's why I'm pointing to it. Headlined by Chito Vera. Just sharing for you. Total stud. Straight up BMF, but maybe not somebody you would think of as a pay-per-view star. Well, he was one half of a main event, and that's the way the credit works, that did 14.2 million and helped to overshine what was at least scheduled to be the biggest MMA event of all time in 300. We're in a recession. That's a beautiful word, recession. Recession. Feels good to say recession. But it comes with a definition. And I suggest Ariel look it up.